We welcome the fact that he has assigned or appointed his deputy president, J.D. Vance, to be the one who attends the G20 in South Africa. And that is a welcome development because the U.S. can assign anyone that the President Trump deems necessary.
Good evening, folks. I have to ask the question about whether someone in the African National Congress or somewhere in the Government National Uni has finally woken up to the reality that South Africa has been pissing off the United States and taking unnecessary actions to insult the United States and damage our diplomatic relations. Because now twice in less than the span of 1 week, South Africa has taken actions that one could arguably state are intended to mollify the United States, or at least calm the United States down and show good faith efforts towards improving relations. The first of those was to ask the Chinese to postpone Operation Mosi 3, combined naval exercise. This is the third iteration of it between South Africa, Communist China, and rogue Russia. This one is scheduled for November at the exact same time that the G20 summit is taking place. Now, why does that matter? Because South Africa is the president of the G20 for the moment and hands over its presidency to the United States in South Africa in November. Having this exercise conducted with Communist China, a rogue state that is threatening global security in the South China Seas, in the East China Sea, and across the Indo-Pacific region, as well as undermining the global economy with its corrupt practices of trademark infringement, copyright theft, and frankly, its barriers to trade, preventing products from entering its economy, as well as rogue Russian state, which has invaded its neighboring state of Ukraine illegally and illegitimately. Holding an exercise with these actors during the G20 was an insult. So South Africa has asked for it to be postponed. That's the first step. And now we see the foreign minister, Ronald Lamola, ANC, telling South African Broadcasting Corporation that they're happy, they're grateful, and they appreciate that the United States will be sending J.D. Vance in President Trump's stead to be the U.S. representative at the handover in November. And that is a big development. It could have been a assistant secretary of state, and that really would have been an insult. But the vice president going is not an insult, but it's also not an endorsement of South Africa's actions in which they persecute their racial minorities in Trump's view. So that's good news and good behavior on the part of South Africa. Will it convince the Americans that South Africa is serious? I don't know. The number of transgressions, the number of insults, the number of actions directly against U.S. foreign interests, our national security, and our friends, partners, and allies over the past 25 years is legion, and it is quite a lengthy list. So this is perhaps a start, and maybe it will go some way towards opening the door to negotiate lower tariffs. If South Africa will lower its artificial barriers, its quotas against United States goods and services coming to South Africa, maybe we'll make some progress at getting rid of that 30% tariff. But this is a good step.
Both our countries somewhat have a strained relationship.
That is for him to state. For us, we welcome that J.D. Vance has been assigned, but we also know that he is also reluctant to travel long distances, as you are aware. But I believe the White House can shed light on his reasons, but we welcome the fact that J.D. Vance is coming.
Once again, Lamola sort of delves into the fiction here. This nonsense about Trump doesn't like to travel long distances. Stop making things up. Trump travels all over the world. He's been to Europe. He's been to Asia. He's been to Latin America. He's been all over the world. Stop making up nonsense. You are doing so well, Ronnie. Just listen, Ozzy, just stick to the facts. Stick to the facts. Don't speculate, because every time you speculate, you just grab that spade and dig a deeper hole to bury yourself in. But good approach here. I think he's been chastised by somebody telling him to stop digging a grave, because for once, Ronald Lamola stopped digging the ANC's grave and took an action that was appropriate. What say you, South Africa? Has the ANC turned a page? I don't think so. I think they're just trying to calm things down and hope that there's a U.S. delegation so they can hand it over, so there's not an empty chair there when it's time to give up the presidency in November. Cheers.